Welcome along, guys, to the second round of the RFC Division 2 Championship. Of course, I'm here today by myself, and well, we are in for a great day of racing, of course, as we're watching, at the moment, watching Barker come around the final corner. I'm trying to get the lap timer going for him. He's got a racing balls tucked up right behind him as Barker crosses the line and sets a slow lap there. So that's fire, isn't it? Really. Okay, we'll try to hop onto someone. I believe this is Wagner that we're watching now, just rounding through towards the long straight. Of course, in the same track this week as the actual F1. So quite interesting that we've kind of lined up like that. We obviously didn't plan it, but yeah, that is kind of how it's just planned out. We've got a little return today of someone. Oops, I didn't mean to add him. My bad. As we watch Wagner round through the final corner and towards the line. He's purple sector 1, comes across the line and 2 tenths behind Nico there. So he has done a okay lap, but not the greatest, as trying to catch the other Aston Martin, to be honest, who is probably not on a lap. We'll try and catch... who's that round in that? I think it might be Cast here. So we'll watch on with him in the Alpine. And down the long straight, I believe one of the longest, if not the longest, straight on the calendar, in real life and RFC, of course. And we come around the final corner in the Alpine. This track is awful, by the way. As Carstair crosses the line, 8 tenths down on Nico, but goes up into P4 just ahead of Marley, his teammate. So a good lap from him. And now we'll watch on with... Oh, sorry. It looked there like the 2 McLarens were out because they've not got Ps, but hey-ho. As we watch Barker comes into the pits on the inters, so wasn't doing a legit time there. As we watch... I thought was Pablos, but it's kind of messed up my system a little bit there. Oh, that's annoying. Oh, well. Oh, when it moves up and down, it kind of messes it up a little bit. That's gonna be great, isn't it? Oh. Okay, well, we are on with level at the moment. As we try and get his timing up. In the Mercedes, trying to, of course... Someone hasn't got telemetry, and I really don't know who that is. For God's sake. I think it's the new Williams guy. No one can commentate with me, mate. Riding solo, as Level matches his teammate in that first sector, just a 10th down at the moment. As we'll try and get Pablos' time as well come up so we can follow on with him, see how he's doing on his lap. Of course, he's a little bit ahead at the moment, heading towards the sector. We might actually hop on board with him for a second and just watch maybe him finish his lap. Nope, I forgot it's 11th. I'm brain dead. So you watch on Pablos at the moment, Level right behind, doing a pretty good lap as well. So both doing okay so far. As stays clear out the way as we head towards the hairpin. And Pablos needs a good result in the Ferrari. Of course, made his move to Williams last season and then end of contract and has gone to the Scarlet Red Ferrari as he crosses the line and he goes up into P4. As now we look at Level, who's going, if I can get the right person, as he crosses the line and he goes P5 there, just behind Pablos. So good lap from both of those drivers there. As we watch the Williams round through the final corner, we need to message him real quick to get him to turn it on. What is his name? Bonfo. There we go. We've got him messaged. Right. Kai now rounds through the long right-hander towards the long straight. Of course, Kai was dominant in Div 3 and then got moved up and then took a little leave, and he's returned now to the team that brought him so much glory in Div 3 when he was there. He almost won the championship after doing about eight laps, 8 races, sorry. So, yeah. Yeah, we know about that. Yeah. As Kai rounds through the final corner, his first lap on the board in Season 8. We'll see what he does, and he goes provisional top there, ahead of Nico by around a tenth. That's a good lap from Kai, and shows indeed why he was moved up last season. Next across the line, I believe, is going to be Tazeo. I think. That's not Tazeo, sorry. It's Andrew. Andrew's added RFC in his name. As he rounds through the final corner, he beats his teammate and tops the table as well. Andrew, changing his name, has actually kind of messed it up a little bit, but, you know, cheers, I guess. As Jeffy is on a lap as well as his teammate, William Salu. So we'll try and get Jeffy's lap timer up. As both the McLarens currently yet to set lap times. Of course, both the Red Bulls were pretty low down until now. So, as Jeffy crosses the line, last week's race winner, gets a fastest in Sector 3, but can't quite beat the other Red Bulls and goes P4. Salu now next across the line. We'll see where he can go. He goes up into P3, so a good lap from him as well. And now there's just one more person that hasn't set a lap, which is Barker. So we'll watch on with him. Takes me a little bit of time. As Barker rounds through towards the final corner now. In the Aston Martin, it's been an okay lap so far. Will, of course, be a little bit way off the pace of Andrew. 1.1 seconds down is 14th place. Struggled last week as well. Both the Aston Martins really struggled last week. And P14 after his first lap is definitely a worrying sign. Hazy rounds the final corner. We'll see where he can go as he crosses the line. It's a slow lap for him, so he's not on a proper lap there. Riley Edwards. Is Riley on a lap? We'll see. He's green and green, so he is on a proper lap this time. Set the last lap. Sorry, I've just realised that on the overlay. There you go. Sorry about that. I forgot to change it. As Riley crosses the line in the Williams, it's 1.3 seconds down and he stays in the drop at the moment in P17. So a poor lap from him. And having a little look, I believe Marley is on a lap right now. We'll have a look. Currently yellow in both sectors, so I don't think we'll have a look on that one. As Jardinho is left. That's very strange. We'll quickly send over. Yep, nice one. Trying to read through the telemetry. Nice. The graphics. Oh, he was there. Okay. Vortex now coming towards the end of his lap, I believe. Coming into the final sector. 5 tenths down on Andrew at the moment. That is a great first and second sector there. Puts himself right up in the mix here. As he rounds down the long straight. I believe the Ferrari engine is one of the faster ones here, so he should be pretty rapid down this straight in the Sauber. And Sauber struggling a little bit more than they did last season. Just need to try and pick up some more points. And currently down P15, P20. It's not looking good for him at the moment. Vortex going to bring him up, though, as he crosses the line. And he goes up into P11. So that is a good lap from the Sauber driver there. And makes a little bit of headway into the... I don't even know. Yeah. So we now on with Cast, as he's improved in his first sector. And I think it's a slow middle sector compared, though. But no, it's slower than his last lap. But he's just about 6 tenths down on Andrew at the moment. Might need to ask Mons to change Andrew's name. There you go. Just ask Mons to change his name on the spreadsheet so that we got it. So Cast rounds through the hairpin and towards the end of his lap, and I believe Hazy was... We'll watch Cast's end first, and then we'll invite him again. He rounds through across the line, and he's going to go up into P12. Just one position improvement there. As we'll just quickly invite him very quickly. There we go, as the Alpine heads off into the gravel. Okay. I can't remember this guy's name, to be honest. Bonfo, sorry, in the Williams, is on a slow lap. Nice. So he's not going to get a bit of screen time. Making his debut, though, today as a free agent. We've got finally free agents, racing. I did press remove on that. As Josh Duffy, I believe this is. Try and get him up. He's currently improved. Very close to Andrew. I believe track evolution around this track is very big. And I think you can improve quite a lot if you set a lap right at the end of the session. More to, some other tracks where it's not as... it's not as big. But here it is huge, as seen in Div 3 last night. As Duffy rounds towards the hairpin. And it seems all pretty neat and tidy so far. As he's currently P10, so he's not exactly struggling at the moment. And round to the final corner. Where can he put that Racing Bulls car? As he crosses the line, he goes up into P6 there. It's a great lap from him. And really does put him into a good stead as we start to get to the closing ends of the quali session, as we watch on with Level at the moment. Lots of people, of course, retiring Level down on his lap, so we may as well not bother watching that, as he's got Racing Bulls right behind him, of course, trying to start his lap, as is Bonfo on a lap. We'll have a little look. 6/10 down at the moment on Andrew, but he has to do this lap, so it needs something here. I believe a lot of people are on outlaps at the moment, as I think both Van der Saan is on a lap and also Barker. Sorry, I'm trying to I need to do this. Bonfo really down on Andrew at the moment. Is he going to have enough time for another lap, though? I really don't think he will. As we start to get a couple of these up, you can see the two Aston Martins there are a little bit further back. I'm not really sure who will be after those. I believe it will be Terry. So we'll get him up. As Barker currently doing pretty well on his lap. Bonfo struggling in the Williams, currently down in P18, and he will literally he decides to come into the pits and will not complete another lap. So we look at Barker now, who's on a good lap, his teammate behind him. And is that Marley on a lap as well? It is. So Barker, green and green, he's improving on his previous lap. He's done a good lap so far. We just need to see what he can do in this. Yeah, nice. I'm just saying words, really. As Barker crosses the line, he goes up into P11. The checkered flag comes out literally as he does it. His teammate next across the line. And he goes up into P10, so knocks his teammate down a position. As next couple will try and queue up, as Riley Edwards is also on a lap. I believe Hazy's on a lap just right after him. So we've got people fighting for the final spots of the session. Of course, Bonfo and Regis have accepted that they're out. Josh Terry currently sat in P19. Can he get out of the drop zone? Sure, if we call it. He goes P15. It's very, very tight. Marley is now knocked into the drop zone, but is also improving on their lap. As I did add a Hazy, sorry. As he rounds the final corner, can he get into the top 15? Nice. And he goes P14. So it's now down to Riley Edwards and Hazy as well to try and get out of this session. As I try and add him to... I added him about 4 times. Hazy not improving on his lap at all. So at the moment, the two Alpines really at risk. Riley Edwards on a really good lap at the moment. Can he knock out one of the Alpines as he crosses the line? And it's good enough just for P17. Hazy, the only one that can improve, but he's down on his lap as he crosses the line. He improves on his own lap, but his own lap was very slow as well. And that is everyone finished, and that is Q1 done. And there we are. Red Bull 1-2 for the first session. As we scroll down. Excuse me. Do you want to remove that timer, please? Okay. Mons had this bug actually as well. So we just have to just accept it. As we scroll down to the bottom few. We've got a Hazy at the bottom. Bonfo not getting that final lap in. Regis as well. Riley Edwards just missing out in P17. And then Josh Terry there in P16. So, both Williams out of the session. One Sauber through into the next session. It's great for Sauber. Hazy will remove in a bit, I promise. I hope. Okay, as we wait. Would Hazy like to remove? There you go, it's gone now. Ugh, look at these awful graphics. Right. There we are. So, we'll wait for people to start heading out. I can already tell you who's probably going to be the first one out. Ooh, Cars has beaten Marley out. They're both coming out at the same time. Oh, that's crazy. No, Marley. Is Marley out first? Marley's out first. Oh, that's close with the two Alpines. Marley will lead us round though. Hopefully, if they stay ahead, we'll get Marley going round. Of course, the traditional watch the first person do their lap, and for some reason Marley just decides that it's going to be them every single time. All but 3 drivers have come out straight away in this session, so it's a busy track. And Marley lets pass. Okay. Marley lets pass Cast, so we'll watch on Cast, I guess. Well, it will be an Alpine, that's all we hope. Of course, sticking with the tradition of, you know, having them all do their laps first. It's, yeah, I'm watching the first person do a lap. As, of course, in the second part of qualifying, we've already lost both the Williams cars, a Racing Bulls and a Sauber. And I can't remember, there was someone else, but Loki kind of forgotten. Oh, Regis as well, in a Haas. So we've already lost a couple drivers from the first part of qualifying. No Williams as well in Q2, which is a shock for them. But, I mean, after last season, I'm sure they don't really care. As Cast there starts on his lap now, we'll start to get a couple people kind of start their laps as well. As Marley behind, Cast very clean through the first couple corners. We're going to really benefit at the moment from all of the snazzy graphics that Mons has been working on. We're going to make full effect and show all 3 and hopefully get a little, yeah, hopefully we'll be able to improve. As, of course, Cast there sets the fastest Sector 1 and beaten by his teammate, who will probably get beaten by Nico. Nico been showing some great pace over the last couple, well, the last couple races, to be fair, if you include last season as well. He's been showing some great pace. As rounding through, nothing really special about this lap, but nothing bad. It's been a very solid lap at the moment from Cast, and a good banker lap to set. The cloud is getting a little bit cloudy at the moment, as currently none of the people we are kind of seeing the times of actually have fastest laps, which is fastest sectors, sorry, which is quite funny as we head down the very long straight. And I mean, I'm trying to queue up as many people as I can to take full advantage of these graphics, and it's very fun to do. As we round through the final corner now, got to make sure you don't run wide and invalidate, keeps it on the track, crosses the line and sets the first lap time of the session as Marley crosses the line, goes up into P2 behind his teammate. Sorry, and then Nico there goes top of the tables, as we're going to get a lot of times come through very quickly, as we've got Kai now rounding through the final corner, I believe this is. Coming towards the line, Salu goes top. Can Kai beat him? Kai beats him as well as we head through. Oh my god, there's lots of times coming through as Vortex somehow goes up into P2 in the Sauber. Definitely on new tyres, surely, as everyone else starts to finish their laps as well. Oh my god, it's a flourish of drivers finishing their laps. As we watch Pablos now, he's on a lap. We can start to calm it down a little bit and get the last few shown. As Pablos rounds through towards the final corner. Josh Duffy, I believe, is on a lap as well. His time is frozen, which is not great. So get rid of him. As Pablos there goes up into P8. And now it's on Jeffyboy, who's rounding through towards the final corner. Rounding through is my new word to just rinse, as he crosses the line and tops the timings ahead of Kai there with a 32.9. Right, Marley for some reason I think might have invalidated their lap, because now it's saying no time, so maybe an invalidation from Marley. Not I noticed, to be honest. Yeah, as everyone's kind of finished their first runs now, as Marley gets out of the way. And yeah, there we are. We are kind of just had that first laps through a bit. Yeah. What? Okay. Well, Level is going to be the basically the final person to start do their first laps. Bar Marley, who clearly did invalidate. I just didn't see. As Level rounds through the final corner, getting ready to start their lap. Of course, we have a little glitchy timer, but as we cross the line, it starts timing. So, Level gets a full lap to himself. As everyone else did a lap right at the start. It must be raining later in the session then, because, you know, we wouldn't see that many cars come out this early. There is a rain potentially coming, so we could have a little bit of rain to come. As Level is faster than Jeffyboy, not a purple, but a better first sector than the McLaren driver, who rounds through this sweeping left-hand, beautiful corner, long. I don't even know what I'm saying, bro. Bambergen in the chat. Oh, that's cute. As we're coming to the end of Sector 2 now. 2.5 attempts up on Jeffyboy. Not a purple sector in sight, but improving on Jeffy, and that's all he needs to do, really, if he wants to take a fastest... Well, there. Yeah, words. Nice one, mate. As Vortex will tyres. Maybe a little bit early, mate. Vortex in the Sauber decided to retire a little bit early, thinking that he's a big team, but really, you know, track evolution and everything could be dropped down the order, as I didn't see a single raindrop there on Level's Halo, so I'm thinking it's not raining yet, and if it's going to rain, maybe it was later to the session. As Level comes around towards the line, sets the purple fastest lap, not a single purple sector there, but goes top of the timing by about a 10th, which is great for him. Right, now Wagner will be next to do a lap. Of course, he's still on an out lap. Wagner and Kai in the same grid as well. This hasn't been seen since Britain in Div 3 last season. This is yep, come back around. So finally we get them back. If James had his laptop, he would be here. Come on, guys. We all know that James is the real best comms. Me and Mons just try and, you know, make it out like it's us. Here's Wagner. Has a yellow sector 2 apparently. He ain't even started the lap. Beautiful. Right, as he starts his lap, Nico behind is also starting his. So we'll keep an eye on both of these guys. One in the Ferrari and one in the Mercedes. Both rivals in the championship. Both very good in quali so far. And just in general, both have proved themselves to be very handy in quali. So it's going to be very interesting to see which one of these two can set a good lap, as Wagner's slow in the first sector already. So he is clearly on a slow one. Nico is a couple attempts up here. So, purple sector 1 for Nico. On his teammate, of course. Nisev, you're on a 5 stream streak. Thank you. Okay, and this guy just says this. What the hell? Maybe we ban Nisev. As Nico rounds through. It's been a very tidy sector 2 so far. 4.5 attempts up on level at the moment. So he's setting a great, well, setting the timing board alight at the moment with the purple sector 1, purple sector 2. Can he top it off with a purple sector 3? He's not got any slipstream down the straight, but I'm sure he doesn't care about that, as he has someone behind him, I believe. We'll start to get a couple more times, because I think Cast is on a lap as well. We've got, oh sorry, Statlev's right behind him actually. We swapped to that, sorry. Yeah, Statlev on an improved lap behind. As Nico rounds through the final corner, he's definitely going to top the table, but by how much? As he crosses the line, it's an 8/10 gap. That is insane from Nico. That has really put the bar down. But as I said, track evolution round here is insane, as Statlev in the Haas rounds towards the line. We'll see where he can go. Currently P13. He crosses the line, goes up into P2. Still 7 tenths away from Nico, but still a good lap from him. That is an insane lap from Nico. Really laid the bench down. And if we have a little look at the skies, it's kind of cleared up a little bit over the last couple minutes. And what I thought was, you know, potential rain from the fact that everyone came out so quickly, it's now turned into a bright, sunny track. So, Cast now currently P14. Both the Alpines yet to really set a respectable lap as he crosses the line. Still pretty poor, but goes P11, 1.6 seconds away from, can't remember his name, nice one, from Nico, sorry. As we watch on with Pablos at the moment, who is currently in the second sector. And I believe Wagner might be on another lap as well. So we may miss a lap from Wagner. I probably need to check on him actually, as we'll quickly jump to Wagner, put his time up. Wagner's improving as well, so we'll watch Wagner first, as his teammate is also on a lap. But Wagner messed up that first, maybe just doing a second warm-up in that first one, as he crosses the line and he goes 4 tenths away, but up into second place, as Pablos now is completing his lap with Statlev in front of him, so probably want him to get kind of out the way a little bit here. As Nico, of course, retires there in the pits, decides doesn't want to do another lap. As Pablos rounds towards the line, can he get close to his teammate? Just a 10th away, but up into P3. That's a great lap from him. Andrew on a slow lap at the moment, maybe waiting for his teammate, but I'm not really sure. But we'll watch on with Salu, because Salu is on a lap. Purple in sector 1 for Salu as well. So that is a interesting start. Maybe seemed a little bit slidey there through that corner. The second sector not being as nice for Jeffy, as he's jabbing at the steering wheel, which looks disgusting to be honest. We'll see how much he's just down on Nico. These two beasts in qualifying going neck and neck really. As we round towards the long straights, this is where it's going to be so important to have absolutely goblin wings. You're going to be wanting 0-0 down this straight. As Salu just needs to try and improve a little bit. Currently sat in P9, a little bit in danger. And Vortex, by the way, who retired in the pits, is currently P8. So, you know, how silly do you look right now, buddy? Yeah, that's a very strange decision from him. as Salu rounds towards the line. What can he do as he crosses the line? 3 attempts down on Nico, but goes P2. And that completes a good lap from himself. Now, got to start watching some of these big dogs as Andrew is on a lap. We'll try and get his timing up, and I believe his teammate is on one as well. As we've got, I think we've got him, Jeffyboy, I believe is on an out lap at the moment, but I think Kai is also on a lap as well. Purple in sector 1 for Kai actually, so very much on a lap at the moment. As further back, there are Astons that have just started. I believe Josh Duffy's just started his lap as well, so we'll keep an eye on him. We'll keep an eye on the Astons as well. As I think Barker set his first, so we'll try and find him. I'll try and knob about with these a little bit. Nice one. As Andrew here looking good with the purple sector 2. Of course, down that straight, I mean, anything can really happen. And round towards the final corner. I'm trying to sort everything else out. He goes 2.5 attempts, but up into P2. And then we're going to watch his teammate, who is also setting blistering lap times in that first sector, purple, in an okay second sector as he crosses the line. He goes up into P2 now, as I believe that's now Jeffyboy starting his lap. So we'll kind of watch with him for a little bit. No, we won't. We're going to jump on with Barker. As, oh, sorry, Josh Duffy is about to finish his lap first. We'll watch him as the 2 Aston Martins are also on laps. I think the Mercedes of Level is on a lap as well. So we'll keep him. Duffy goes up into P6. That has confirmed that Vortex is already out. So retiring in the first couple minutes there when you're second has really bottled for him. And he's down, he's out. So nice one, mate. Not the smartest. As Barker now crosses the line, he's in P14 at the moment, jumps up into P9, just inside the top 10, definitely going to be at risk. Jeffyboy at risk as well, as Van der Sant there goes up into P8 and knocks Jeffyboy even worse into the drop zone. Level is someone at risk as well, really needs to pull out a good lap in this last part of the session. Marley on an improving lap as well. I think Red Bull, I'm not sure who that's going to be, we need to see, but as Level comes across the line, he just scrapes in at the moment, so it's not looking good for him. And Jeffyboy is still out as Marley there goes P14, can't improve by enough. Jeffyboy, the only person that can knock out a Mercedes as well, green in both the sectors, needs to have a good last sector here, needs to try and get the race winner from last week. Can he get into Q3? Yes he can, up into P4, and Level is out of qualifying. Mercedes taking a little hit there. Level, who showed so much pace in the first round, has now been eliminated in Q2 in P11 and misses out by just about quarter of a second. Second? Not a second, mate. What am I on about? Quarter of a tenth. But there we are. Ugh. What a Q2 session. Very close in the top 10 as well. And there we are as we see the classification. We just look at everyone out. As Cast there bottom in the Alpine 14th, 15th. And Vortex, after retiring with about, well, after being a P2 for a minute, gets P13. And Daniel Barker also out as well. And of course, the main one, Level, being out in Q2 for the Mercedes team is crazy. Oh God, guys, there's 48 of you. Thank you for tuning in. What the hell? Don't know what we did to deserve 48 people in here. It's only Div 2, guys. It's very nice to have you, of course. Van Bergen, did you change your name? I swear on Twitch he wasn't called Van Bergen. Yeah. Yeah, Toes, I'm pretty sure that is true, by the way, that the Div 2 is better. I think Div 2 gets the numbers. Yeah. Can't tell Mons that, he might hate me. Okay, as I said, we got 48, we dropped down, but it's okay. Who even cares about viewers? We do this for the love of the game. No Marley in this session, so we will not have a Marley lap, which is very sad. But who will we be watching? Is it going to be Nico? Is it going to be Salu? Didn't think it was Nico, but it is. Yeah. So, Nico will take us through. Yeah, mate, if you're racing, you're allowed to stream. There's no problem with that. I don't know why we would say no, to be honest. Yeah, man. Don't worry about it. Okay. So, of course, people setting out pretty early, like we saw in Q2, where we saw pretty much everyone come out straight away, which is why I thought that there was going to be rain, but here we are. And, you know, we've got a couple minutes of calm before the fun begins of everyone setting their laps, and I have to try and juggle who to watch and, you know, what laps to put up and what timers to have on. It's going to be great. We love it. Nico, of course, in a pretty good position to take pole position. Has been pretty quick in quali for a while now, if you include last season as well. Was very... Had his moments of being really quick as... Oh, did he just, like, hit a wall? I'm not even sure what happened there. Yeah, strange. Yeah, Nico has shown that he has pace in quali. And we'll see if he can back it. I did think he was lagging a little bit there, yeah. Hey ho. We're still going to watch him. It's probably me, to be honest. Probably my Wi-Fi. Yeah. Nico rounds through the final corner and gets ready to start the first lap of Q3. Let's be having you. Now I've got to try and spam through and add as many timers as possible to fill the screen. Van der Sar has bugged it, but there you go. It's sorted now. Oh my god, this is going to be fun, isn't it? Right. As we start to see, he's doing pretty well so far on this lap. Really does need to, yeah. I don't know how to refresh the names. Didn't know I could do that. As we round through the long left-hander. I don't know corner numbers because this guy, aka Mons, decided not to add them in yet, which is really annoying because I don't know like any of the numbers off by heart. But oh, Nico, okay, right, Nico looked like he made a mistake there. Turns out he didn't. And yeah, I'm just trying to add everyone to this list. There we go. All sorted. We've got everyone in a long list now. Salu, purple in sector 2, showing some pace. Nico, it's not been the greatest lap for him so far. We've seen him do better in this qualifying session alone. So he needs to maybe pick up the pace a little bit in this final sector. Of course, it's just a banker, so it's not that big of a deal. He could be on used tyres, he could be on anything. But, yeah, as we'll refresh, reload driver registry. There you go, mate. And Nico crosses the line and tops the table. He's invalid on his lap, actually. So Nico invalidates. Now on to Van der Sar, who tops the table. And then Salu, who goes faster. Next up is Kai, who, sorry, trying to touch him. Touch him, what? Pause. As Kai just goes slower than Salu there. Can't beat him. And then next is Pablos, who crosses the line. He goes 2 tenths behind Salu. Next is Duffy, who's going to go round. We've got a little bit of a break here, thank God, as Duffy rounds through the final corner. So Salu, currently advantage to Salu. Duffy going to be fighting near the end as he beats Van der Sar there, goes P4. Next is Wagner, who's rounding through the final couple corners, as there's a yellow flag. Who cares? And Wagner, where can he go? He's good in quali. He goes P4, about 3 tenths behind Salu at the moment, as Jeffyboy is next across the line. Jeffyboy tops the time in and goes 2.5 tenths clear. That is a great lap from Jeffyboy. And next is going to be Statlev, who goes P4 in the Haas. Insane lap from him. As Andrew crosses the line. Andrew beats Jeffyboy by 2.5 tenths. And Andrew tops it. Provisional pole position in his hands, as Nico, I believe, isn't on a second run. No, he's not. So Nico will be setting another lap. I believe Van der Sar might set another lap soon. Nico comes into the pits. Van der Sar, is he on another lap? Is he going to start another lap? Or is he going to come into the pits? He comes into the pits as well. There we go. I've refreshed the drivers tab, by the way, and nothing happened. Still RFC Andrew. I don't know if it's... Yeah. Oh well. Right. That's a great lap for Statlev to put him in P5. As in the Haas team, he did well in round 1 as well. And yeah, Statlev proving to be a good signing for Haas. And everyone's going to kind of come into the pits and get ready for their final runs. Slap on some new tyres, lower the fuel. Person really at a disadvantage at the moment is Nico, really, without a lap. It's going to be difficult for him. But yeah, as we watch Statlev come into the pits, now we've just got Andrew out on track on his lonesome, and he's going to come in as well. And there we are. Everyone's decided to chill out in the pits for a little bit. So we may have a couple minutes here where no drivers come out, but it's like the calm before the storm. Martin. Right. Who is going to be first out for their final runs? It's looking like it's going to be Salu here. How do I get rid of that other tab? I don't need it. There we go. Right. Salu, currently P3. Currently about 4.5 tenths-ish away from a pole position. But still, like, plenty of time in the session. Of course, everyone's going to do their final runs. Nico is a bit out of position at the moment. So yeah, we've got some... Yep. What would be nice, Mons, is if I can queue which slots are going to be active. If I could just queue them first, so that when they start their laps, it actually starts it. That would be quite nice. Because at the moment, if I added it now, so if I added Salu's thing, obviously it comes up like awfully. And I reckon Mons could do some magic here and make it so it doesn't open until they cross the line. Just some ideas, of course, while we wait for Salu to actually start his lap. Oh yeah, it's going to be automated. I forgot about that. Yeah, guys. Somehow this guy's going to try and automate like all of the timers to come up as people start laps. It's going to be insane. Yeah, well, I'm not needed. Yeah, we strayed away from SimHub this season, and we've ended up with these graphics, which, yeah, may be limited, but who even cares? Right, enough chatter. Salu starting his lap now, and him and Nico, the only two on the track at the moment. Of course, we'll start to see the other drivers come out soon, but Salu wants to get a lap on his, well, under his belt, I guess, as he's, still got a good lap time. Just Andrew's done it a bit later in the session, so yeah. As Nico rounds through the final corner, so we'll keep our tabs on his lap as well. As it's purple sector 1 already for Salu. The track evolution, as I said, is very good here. And yeah, Nico, we're not going to be able to see his lap until right at the end, so that's really annoying. Sadly for him, the graphics do bug a little bit, so we're not going to be able to see what lap time he's even close to. We'll see the gap at least, as slower in the second sector is Salu, but a little bit fast, well, a little bit slower in the first one. Oh, I didn't know that did it, my bad. As down the long straight, Salu trying to get a bit closer to those top two. Those top two, really clear at the moment. There's a little bit of a slide there into the hairpin, and he's definitely lost some time. I really do think that Sally's going to have to go around and do another lap, which I guess is his plan. As he crosses the line, he goes 3 tenths down, improves on his lap a little bit there, but not really enough. Nico showing some improvement as well. Needs to improve by, like, obviously, well, just needs to get a lap on the board at the moment. Ah. I know what... yeah, I know Nisev. He's so quick. As he comes around the final corner, we're going to finally see what lap time Nico can do. As the timer clicks in, he goes provisional pole position by 1/10 of a second. And that really does set the tone for everyone else. As we watch now, Kai is going to start his lap as we start to get everyone start setting their laps as well. I think that's Van der Sant crossing as well. I tried to catch it before, but I didn't. So we're not going to be able to watch Van der Sant's lap at all. Yep, as Pablos is also on a lap. So is Statlev. We're going to be trying to watch everyone's. As purple in Sector 1 is Kai by 2.5 attempts, really putting a marker down again, proving why he was moved up. But hey-ho, who cares? As Pablos matches Nico in the first sector as well. As Statlev is actually quicker than Nico in the first sector. That's an insane lap from Statlev, really doing the rounds at the moment. As we head through Sector 2, 2.5 attempts up is Kai at the moment. But Nico, of course, Nico is probably going to do another lap. But there are people around that are doing quicker laps. Pablos there, 2.5 attempts down on Nico. Salu decides to retire, so he will not be doing another lap in this session and accepts P4 is the best he can do. So I think there's a couple of people I'm missing from my little list here that are out on track, so I'm not really sure what's going on. But it's been a good lap from Kai so far as he rounds through the final corner. Can he take provisional pole? I think he can. As he crosses the line, it's going to be slower than Nico, and he only goes P3 there behind his teammate. Van der Sant goes P6 as the checkered flag is out. Pablos crosses the line. He then takes away P6. Now Statlev with that amazing first sector comparison. He goes P6. And now it's Wagner across the line. Can he go P6 as well? He crosses the line. Stays P9. Jeffyboy is on a lap. Andrew improves and goes top of the timing there with provisional pole position. Can Jeffy get close enough to beating it? He's the only person that can beat him unless Duffy pulls something out. Jeffyboy crosses the line. He doesn't improve, stays P4, and Andrew is pole position by 0.5 tenth. Wow. I didn't even know that I didn't have Andrew's timer on, to be honest. As Duffy there crosses the line, he goes P10. And there we are. Andrew gets pole position, and it would be nice if his name wasn't RFC, but hey ho. So there we are. Andrew takes it, and oh yeah, mate, I know he's first. There's the classification. Nah, I'm looking at 10 people and I'm trying to line them up, and how the lap timers work is like really difficult sometimes. That's why I can't wait for it to be automated, because we would have seen that. But yeah, it's like I have to like look at this like app thing. Like the control panel's really like weird, and I have to make sure I'm like adding the right driver in the right order. Nissa, if you're gonna say you don't care, bro. I hate this guy. Worked for me because you sat there only doing. Mons, it's just me. Nah, you wasn't. You wasn't commentating. Yeah, but you weren't alone, mate. Like, yeah, you had Martin. Ooh, looking a little bit overcast today. Well, this is different because you made the thing, so you of course know how it works. You know. It's a hard life. Who'd be interested in a TikTok where me and Mons do a day in the life? Yeah, I'm pretty sure day in the life of Mons, and it's like, yeah, I do RFC work, and then I come home and do RFC work, and then mine's like, I do work, and then I just, what am I hearing? Yeah, literally. I need automated graphics so I don't have to do anything. I'm getting old. Like, do you know how much effort that is? To pick up my, like, grab my mouse, go across the ad, and add someone. Yeah. Poor. It's long. Maybe we need a... This is a part where we need, like, a little graphic to come up, because... What is this? There we are. As we can do that. So it's used. And get that. There we are. Andrew, of course, top pole position. Nice. Just saying words at this point. Yep. I've just remembered I can actually adjust someone. 1 minute. Need to... Oh, no, I've messed it up again. Okay, it's still fine. Alright, so, Andrew's starting on the hard tyres. We've got about 5 drivers there starting on the hards. Of course, it says in pits at the moment. We're of course not in the pits. We can very much see them doing the formation lap. Also, it says lap 1 out of 28. We are not on lap 128. Yeah. Wait, what's the favourite graphic? Okay. I don't know where this favourite graphic was, so that's fun. But, oh. Yeah, basically formation lap scuffed, mate. As Andrew, sorry, rounds through to place both Red Bulls starting on the hards. Wagner splitting with Pablos and going medium hard. Ferrari at the moment have 0 points in Div 2, so really do need a good race as we head to China. They need something coming out of here. Words. As Hazy now is going round to start. Oh, nice one. Look how far back that puts them. I didn't realise it would put them that far back. As we get ready for the lights to come on. There we are. With 5 red lights. And we are underway. Andrew pointing straight towards Nico, coming straight over to block him. And it's a bad start from Kai, who's swarmed with 2 McLarens side by side with him. And the Ferrari of Pablos, they're trying to get a better... Oh, and Kai's been tagged! Kai's been tagged further back, and he's round and now really deep in the mid-pack. Further back, as Nico and Andrew make a little mistake there. As they've now... oh my god. Words, nice one. As Nico has taken the lead off of Jeffyboy. They're side by side. So Ferrari's round. Pablos has spun and is now... Oh my god. This is why I don't do starts. As Jeffyboy takes the lead, something happened between Nico and Andrew there because there was contact. And both of them got really out of shape and allowed the McLarens to just sweep through. As we look further back at Kai, who is currently fighting for his life down in P15. He had a spin as well, was spun round by someone else as he needs to work on getting back through the grid. He's trying to make a couple moves. But as we head round towards the straight for the first time, of course, no DRS on lap 1. It's all going to be about burning as much as you can as there's side-by-side further back between, I believe that's Level and Cast. As we head round, everyone sticking in a little formation here. As we head down towards the hairpin. Of course, it'll be a key overtaking spot as the 2 Aston Martins here side by side for P10. And Barker is on the inside. He's going to be able to make the move stick as Van der Sar is holding him ahead. Barker has to cede position and stay behind. But there we are. We can now see the gaps. Everything's okay. Statlev still in P8. Vortex P9. Marley up into P6 is a great start for him. Of course, Pablos down with Kai at the moment after them both being spun round. With Terry early to pit. What is going on for the Racing Bulls team? Of course, they are really struggling this season to get anything at the moment. I think yesterday they had 2 people in the bottom 2, so it's great, isn't it? As we'll switch to interval, and we'll update that a little bit. As Level under a lot of pressure from Cast at the moment. Level really struggling around here. Was P11 in quali, already down 1 position to P12, and doesn't really seem to be making any progress at all. As Terry there retires. He's retired on track, which is silly, but hey ho, no one reports it. Who cares? As we head through towards the leaders, we're coming down the main straight now. Nico in the DRS, and we've got a huge DRS train with everyone up to P16. It's further back. Barker is slow out of the onto the straight, down in P17. Not sure what's happened to Barker there, but really struggling with something. Must have just spun up and yeah. Thanks, Nissev, mate. You've seen that. Cast there gets back off Pablo. So Pablo's struggling in his early phase of the race. As Nico sits close behind Jeffy, not letting him get away is the important part. As all 3 of the top 3, as Riley Edwards has retired in the pits. What? Riley Edwards retires for no reason whatsoever. Actually, I think Josh Terry did retire in the pits. I'm not sure. No, he didn't. Sorry, he got teleported there. My bad. Yeah, Riley Edwards in the Williams, who, of course, Williams did bankrupt. Sorry, last season. You can't be pulling those types of games. As Cast there is under pressure from Kai now, as they're side by side. Kai trying to hold it round the outside, and Cast is going to hold with the Alpine, but just can't do it there. As now Kai is up into P14 on those hard tyres, and really, the poor guy. As Charlotte will not be happy the fact that Riley Edwards has retired. That is crazy to me. I'm sure Riley's going to have a lot to answer for there. I think he's got a clause in his contract that says he can't have more than 2 retirements, I believe. So that's going to be interesting if that gets picked up on. As we head towards the hairpin, no one making a move. Nico, sorry, maybe ghosting a little bit there, maybe locked up a little bit. As Marley is just teetering on the edge of being in this DRS zone. It's currently P6 with Duffy, Statlev and Vortex all behind. So, yeah, these random kind of drivers. Hazy gets the fastest lap up into P12 there. So starting last and is already up, as Bonfo there in the Williams gets a 3-second time penalty, already down in the trenches in P18, as Pablos and Kai here having a right battle as they're side by side. Do they know that they're fighting for P13 and not the win? Who even knows, but who cares? As Kai down the inside, as Bonfo leaves the session, lap 4. Could this be a DSQ and a DNF for Williams? That's, well, bad to worse for the Williams team, really, as Pablos does cede position to Kai there, as they now go. So, let's have a little look at this, this little scrap maybe for P6 at the moment, as we look. And what have we got? Currently got Elia in P6 and Josh Duffy chasing behind in P7. As we look down the straight, Marley is 2 seconds away, so he's out of the DRS at the moment. As you can see, the front pack starting to attack each other a little bit. Marley defending the inside, making Duffy go around the outside. As further back, Van der Sant there trying to make a move on Vortex, as they're side by side. There's a yellow flag. I'm not sure if that's Barker further down is sort of doing it. No, Van der Saan losing a couple of positions. So oh, it has just made contact with Pablos, and luckily the pit lane's right there. But Van der Saan makes contact a little bit there with that group, and then Pablos just comes around and taps him a tiny bit, and that sends him into the wall. There's a little, again, a scrap going on for P7. Duffy makes the move on Marley, but now Statlev is all over Marley. Marley really struggling to hold on as Statlev down the outside. Marley's not going to make that easy. Statlev can get the switchback done here in the Haas. As he's got the better exit. A little bit of contact from rear wheel to front wheel there. Very strange as Marley now experiences the horrors of dirty air. You see the car not turning in at all. That's just the Alpine, to be honest. As we focus back in on this lead group, you can see this top 5 not really being separated by much. Wagner starting to fall out a little bit of the group, just sticking within the DRS, but it is close. But nice, I said but twice. Yeah. The good thing for Wagner though is that he has a 2.3 second gap behind. So yep, as the top 3 really working together here. You know, Nico had a little move to the right, but I think he's more just telling to work together and kind of pull away, as they've got Andrew sat behind as well, so he needs to be wary of that. As we head on to lap 6 now, as Kai makes the move on Hazy up into P11. So Kai trying to make something of this race. He had a moment like this. Yeah, well, Hayes actually got back past him. Yeah, he had a moment like this in Div 3 where I think it was Spain. He started the race and had an incident early on, but managed to build his way up and win the race. Can we see that happen here? I mean, it's a very stacked grid in Div 2 this season, so it'll be difficult if he does so, and fair enough. As we're watching this fight for P6 at the moment. It's between these 4 drivers, level, tagging on the end of them at the moment. We'll be wanting to get past them as Van der Saan there retires in the pits. Last race, we had like no retirements at all, pretty much. I think we had 1 in this div. And now we've come here and oh no, hey, it's Vortex! It's a Vortex spun on the exit. We're trying to catch him as he just loses the rear end there. We see it in the camera in the background. He just flies off. Lucky not to get damage. I believe he's okay. I believe he's okay, like it's actual, yeah. No, he has got damage. He's got end plate damage. So he's hit the wall there. And that is so unlucky for the Sauber driver. Doing really well, running in P10 as well. And now his teammate is under pressure from Kai. He's going to have to try and hold it down the outside of the hairpin. Get a better exit. He can't get it. And now Pablos is making a move. The Sauber needs to accept there that he's not in a fight with these two, really. They're trying to fight to get back through the field. And he's just a roadblock in the green machine. Of course, the last season we will see Sauber. Yeah, sadly, as Vortex comes into the pits, hopefully doesn't decide to retire like so many have before, aka the 3 retirements. Yep. Just not very great from some of these guys to just retire when something goes wrong. But hey. As we looking at this top group again, who are very much just in their own little world, cruising along, as it's the top 5 that are in this train, and they're all just kind of training along. That is the problem with China, is the, you know, the straight and the dirty air in the second sector. I mean, the only place to really overtake is the straight. But if everyone's running lower wings and just sat in DRS, how do you overtake? So, can be difficult. But yep, as we see another lap where these guys don't move. Level trying to make a move on Marley down the inside towards the hairpin, and the move is done pretty much as we head into the braking zone. And Marley goes down into P9. Level up a position, now can start chasing Statlev and Duffy, as there's a yellow flag. I believe that's a little bit further back. Is that Pablos again? Round as Kai comes into the pits. Maybe a little bit early on the hard tyres. As I just saw a drop of rain there. We're starting to get little drops of rain. So this does create a little, that is a little bit more interesting as Kai pits now onto the inters. Maybe a little bit early as we've only just spotted that there's rain. So maybe a little bit too early, but you can start to see it in some of the other cameras as well. If we look on the onboard, you can really see it. So the rain is starting. It's going to create a little bit more action as Marley onboard seems okay. Doesn't seem too slidey at the moment. Not noticing anything different. As well, I mean, Kai had to try something to maybe, you know, spark a little bit of, I don't know, a chance in this race to get back into it. As we'll watch that gap between him and Regis will be quite interesting. It's about 11.1 at the moment. It's remained around 11.1 as the AI of Bonfo has decided to pit. So that says quite a lot as well. Maybe it is time, as we'll see what these front guys do, because in the top 5 there are only 4 teams, and McLaren, well, they've got someone in first and fourth, so they have to commit with one and, you know, risk it with the other, as I believe all of them have gone out except for Salu. That's why I said they have to risk it with one of them. So Salu is going to be that risk. Is it too early? Well, Kai is losing some time as Cast there gets a 3-second time penalty, as I believe Level comes into the pits as well. I'm really not sure if it's time at the moment. Yep, as a couple others. I mean, it's only the big guys that are really pitting. You know, you've got Level, Salu and Kai. They're pretty big drivers in big teams deciding to pit. So, I mean, well, it depends what you really go off here. Andrew has moved up into P2 in all of that as well. I don't remember when that happened, to be honest. I think they were just, they were kind of cruising along. I thought they were sitting in the same formation. As we'll keep an eye on the gap between Regis and Salu now to see what can happen. But what can happen with that gap? It's around a second, so we need to see if it improves at all. If the gap decreases. At the moment it does, and it seems like Jeffy has really struggled out of that out of the long sweeping right hander, and Andrew's down the inside. However, the DRS activation point I think is just on the exit, so I think Jeffy is going to get the DRS. Neither of them have it, so neither get, no, sorry, Andrew had it, my bad. So Andrew takes the lead of the race. Now what is he going to do? Is he going to pit in? Because Salu at the moment is around the same pace as Regis. Of course, there is a little bit of a difference there. But Andrew stays out, Salu stays out, Nico stays out, Wagner comes in and runs a little bit wide, almost runs into the barrier there on the exit. So he comes in as well. He's going to be fighting nearby to, I believe that's Salu. He's going to be trying to get nearby. So we'll see if the overcut for these conditions can work. We'll see where he comes out. There's a yellow flag. Not sure who that's for, as there's a couple people in the pits at the moment. As Wagner and Marley. Wagner's come out ahead of Salu, so that is very important for his race. Marley has come out ahead of Level. Again, oh no, he hasn't. He's just behind. And now Kai has come out just behind Marley, around 3 seconds behind Marley. So pitting a little bit earlier maybe has helped him a little bit, but maybe not enough. As, I mean, looking at it from the onboards, it doesn't look like it's raining. I mean, it's raining quite heavily, and now he's seeing Duffy there ahead. He's struggling a little bit. So maybe it is rain time. But you've got 18 laps left of the race. Is going on to Inter's the right move, or, you know, at this stage? Because if you go too early, you're going to burn out your tyres, and then by the end of the stint, they're going to be finished. So you're going to probably have to do a 2-stop, which I believe the majority will go for. And it's going to be down to these guys, really, to make that call. As we're going to stop and look at Andrew. Andrew stayed out. Jeffyboy has stayed out. Nico comes into the pits. So maybe being told some other information. We'll see if Duffy stays out. Duffy stays out. Statlev decides to come into the pits as well. And Hazy stays out as well. So he's going to go up into P4 now for the Sauber team. As we haven't had word that DRS is disabled yet. So clearly not time for the Inters. But yeah. Okay, I didn't know that was a thing. Yeah, the rain is definitely pouring now. And I mean, most of the grid is on those Inters, bar, you know, Vortex, who had to pit early. So it's kind of a little stuck right now. And Barker, who I believe is just half spun as we speak, as he is going to come towards and into the pits. And of course, Bonfo, who actually did come in, but he pit onto the hards. So not the greatest decision by the AI to pit in when it started raining for the hards. Very smart, guys. As we're currently watching Andrew, who is leading the race at the moment, doing very well up top. And it's just a matter of time before he decides to come in and pit. But yeah, I mean, we'll see when Andrew decides to pull the trigger. I think at the moment he's in a happy space, so he doesn't need to. Jeffy has decided to come into the pits though. He's pulled the trigger, as we're starting to see a couple people get a little bit closer now, which is great fun to see. And now down the long straight, you can see that DRS is still enabled, so it isn't time. The game doesn't think it's time for Inters as Statlev moves past Level. Level's going to fight it a little bit, but does concede position and just let Statlev through. As Duffy came in as well, Hazy into the pits as well, so we're there dropping down a couple positions, and now Andrews all out in front on those hard tyres. Surely you'd be looking behind at Wagner and thinking, you know, oh, I need to pit soon because I don't want that gap to close up rapidly, because that is kind of what happens. Just suddenly that gap will close. It's Level trying to go for a little move down the inside. Can't make it happen. And now seems that Andrews lost a little bit of time, but it's still so close. Maybe now is the time for the Inters, because I think, again, the gap's marginal, but it is slowly decreasing as we watch on still in this fight between Statlev and Level. Bonfa is getting lapped, I believe, for a second time. Maybe not, maybe now, maybe just getting lapped by them reversed. Yeah, Bonfa deciding to quit, so he'll be disqualified from the race. So it'll be a Williams, DNF and DSQ. There's a 10-second time penalty for Daniel Barker there. He retires in the pits. Both Aston Martins retire in the pits. That is crazy to me. What are they doing? Like, yeah. As we head round, the Inter's starting to be a bit faster as Andrews decided to pull the trigger and come in finally. I think that lap, Wagner gained about 2 seconds. There's still DRS though, as we watch with Level. Yeah, there's still DRS active. We'll see whereabouts Wagner comes out. Andrew comes out. As you see, he's coming out of the pits. Wagner, Nico and Salu have all got past him. Jeffy's got past him as well. And I think he just held it one lap too many. However, his tyres are going to be in a much better condition at the moment, as he's gone from the lead down to P5. As Level fighting with Statlev again. And we through the long turn 1 sequence. He just stays ahead. Goes ahead, sorry. Not stays ahead. And he's got a little bit of train behind him now with Statlev, Marley, Duffy, all in a little group. As it's looking good for those top guys at the moment. Seeming very not under pressure from the top 5. I remember receiving an invite from Jamie now. It's like nothing going on now. As Nico level. 10 seconds behind Andrew at the moment. Yeah, that is the gap at this current stage. As Jeffyboy is right tucked in behind his teammate, of course, in this little DRS train going on at the moment. DRS is still enabled, so the game very much just yeah. As I've said that, yeah. You know what, James? I'm okay. As Jeffy suddenly under pressure from Andrew. I don't know what happened there. I kind of looked at the stream, see the chat, and then I looked back and Jeffy's suddenly 1.8 seconds behind and Andrew's literally tucked up right behind it. So Andrew putting a little bit of pressure on Jeffy now. Jeffy struggling at this stage. Andrew, will he make that lunge into turn 2? Jeffy's left the door open for him, to be fair. And Andrew tried to take it, just couldn't get a better exit. And now he's going to try and get the exit again. But Jeffy's closed the door on that one. Learned from the first time. And I think this is Jeffy's chance to maybe just try to save, to hold up Andrew. Yeah, they're definitely, I think they will have to pit again because the Inters will just burn out and will be on 80% in like 7 laps. So I think they will need to pit again. I think you are right. As Andrew is just trying to find a way past Jeffy. He hasn't got the assistance of DRS anymore, so it's going to be much more difficult to try and overtake. It's going to more be a factor of waiting for Jeffy to kind of make a mistake. And yeah, there's a huge gap behind, and then there's not really any other fights going on at the moment. Pablos and Kai still fighting a little bit down in P11, so outside the points. Definitely not a return that Kai would have wanted, but I'm sure that his quali pace will give him a little bit of a boost. As Jeffy there trying to find the wet patch, and I mean these conditions are very much about more about the drivers, and you know it levels the cars a little bit, which is good for Wagner's case really, because the Ferrari isn't really that good when you compare them. It's still okay, it has its benefits, but yeah, I've heard a lot of people say it drives awfully. As the top 5 now has got into a little groove, as Kai side by side with Pablos. Pablos trying to take it around the outside. A little bit of contact there as Pablos is trying to force a move on Kai. And down the inside towards the final corner. Pablos finally makes the move. Kai sees position, but is he going to be able to get it back into turn 1 as we head down the straight? And Kai is going to have to hold position again this time as Cars there gets a 3. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I thought when we were on board with Andrew. Oh yeah, we've already learned about the max like revs that we've got to hold. So now, yeah. This actually isn't the F1 game. This is an RFC game. Wouldn't that be cool? How do we make this happen? How much money do we need to invest to make RFC its own game? As we're watching on with the top drivers here, the top 4. Andrew dropped back a little bit from Jeffy, maybe not wanting to burn out his tyres as much as the other guys. I mean, he pit a lot later, so he could maybe try and hold on for a 1 stop here. As we're watching currently at the moment, Nico really not under any pressure in P2. He's trying to put pressure on Wagner, but just can't get close enough. As we have a little look, you can see Nico and Wagner. Wagner hasn't won a race. I don't remember since when, as Nico lags a little bit there. I need to find out when Wagner's last race win was, because I actually don't know. As we head round through the first sector. And blinking away is Nico. I'm not sure if that's because it's of the conditions or if it's because of anything else. Let's have a little look and see. Wagner's last win was the Netherlands, I believe. Yeah, it was the Dutch Grand Prix, which was right before pre-season. So, pre-season, nice. Mid-season of season 7. So Wagner's gone about half a season without a win. Nico, I don't actually think has ever won, to be honest. So Nico's still trying to chase a win. Yeah, cheers, mate. I've already said it, Zambort, mate. Jesus Christ. Oh, who cares about how it was done, you know? Yep, Andrew really dropping back from this lead 4. Really dropping back. Maybe is trying to hold out. As there's a yellow flag, and I think that's Cast has found himself spun round in Sector 2. Not really sure what's happened there as he rejoins the track. Not really around anyone down in P14. Vortex having a bit of a stinky one as well. I'm surprised he's still in the race, considering how it's gone so far for the other drivers that have an issue. As we look back at this top group, actually, we're going to have a little check at Statlev, because he's getting a little bit closer to Level now. Level may be struggling a little bit. And Statlev and Duffy have got themselves back in the fight. There's Kai fighting with Regis here. Don't know what's happened to Kai. Kai may be making a little mistake. He's now under pressure from the Haas driver. Down the inside, Regis tried to hold the move. But, I mean, that move was going to be difficult. And we go back to the front guys, who seem to be the only ones really having a scrap. Well, not really having a scrap either. They're not really overtaking. They're just kind of cruising around in formation. You know, hopefully by the end of the race we'll see something. We'll watch Statlev for a little bit as he's hunting down Level. I did say I'd watch him, and then suddenly Kai decided to fight Regis, so very strange. Regis has got back past Kai now, so yeah, carnage going on between those two fighting away, having a good time down in P12 and 13. Maybe we need to watch this fight at this point, because it seems to be the only interesting battle going on. Yeah, Hazy with a great recovery drive so far. The wall, oh my god, please don't do that in Monaco. I'd actually just cry. We remember the Adam Lock sideways in Saudi. Genuine stitches. Kai is struggling so much in these conditions. Down in P13. And, I mean, yeah, he had a bad start, but this is like genuine pace at this point. Nico trying to go for a move on Wagner. He's actually got down the inside. Jeffy's made a move on Salu. Nico, this is the first time he's put an actual attempt to try and overtake Wagner here. Wagner really under pressure as Nico is... Whoops, I switched to number 2. Nico is going to try down the inside. Is he going to make it stop quick enough? There's no contact, actually, which is very surprising. And Nico has got into the lead and just taken it away from Wagner. That was crazy. No way does Kai run full traction. Kai also retires in the pits. That is 5 retirements now, all in the pits, plus a driver that's getting disqualified. Yep. All of them, basically, pit lane. Yeah, this is crazy. But Nico takes the lead away from Wagner. Wagner was doing so well, holding the pace. We've got around 11 laps left for Wagner to try and get back past, but he kind of seemed like he was more enjoying the lead instead of, you know, following, as Jeffyboy there tries to hunt for some wet spots on the track, which doesn't seem like there's that many. Of course, it's still very much raining, as Jeffy is actually putting some pressure on Wagner now. Wagner on the inside, Jeffy on the outside. Is Jeffy going to be able to make the move? Round the outside, he's going to have the better exit, and he's got the move. And Jeffy up into P2, and in the space of a lap, Wagner has gone from the lead of the race down into P3. Runs a little bit wide there, maybe struggling. Salu has come in for his second stop. Of course, he was the first to pit out of these front guys, so makes a little bit of sense. Maybe trying to undercut him a little bit, because on inters, the undercut is very good with the new tyres. But of course, the fall off is still pretty bad. as Level comes in. I mean, him as well. They were both kind of on that strategy. Yep. Wagner sat in P3 is still looking like some good points for Ferrari, which puts them out of their slump of 0 points in Div 2 last week. Of course, the CEO is a little bit at risk this season after a very, very poor Season 7. So we'll be wanting his drivers to do something, as we hear Jeffyboy's engine, of course, absolutely ragging it. As Duffy and Statlev both find themselves at P6 and P5 at the moment. Hazy up to P7 as well with those pit stops. So Hazy looking really well in that Sauber. Maybe Sauber points could be possible. Of course, Salu Level may get back past, but yeah, I mean, the gap's pretty close for Hazy for Level, so could happen. As we look on with Statlev just keeping Duffy at bay at the moment, but it's only a matter of time before Duffy starts, burning something and trying to get past. As we watch now down the long straight, the Sauber there, you can see is slowly closing down on these two. So if these two have a little fight, Hazy will be right in the mix as he's trying to find a little bit of grip. As Jeffyboy actually comes into the pits as well. Same with Wagner. So Nico and Andrew continue on. Andrew's really been out of this fight, to be honest, since the last couple laps, and these two decide to pit as well. Hazy is going to stay out, so Hazy's going to move up into P3 for a brief period. In the Sauber, stop the count. Sauber on the podium at the moment. Hazy, if we had the race story, it'd be incredible. From the back of the grid, all the way up into P3 in just 20 laps is very good. Of course, he is yet to do a second pit stop, and if he doesn't do a second pit stop, well, he will very much, may get swamped by the drivers behind. Jeffy and Salu coming out very close to each other, as Jeffy wins that fight. I feel like Jeffy really has priority in his McLaren team at the moment. After that race win in Bahrain, it seems like so far I've seen Salu let Jeffy pass more times than I've seen Jeffy do anything for Salu at the moment. But maybe that's just bad luck, I don't know. As Salu and Jeffy really need to start working together to make sure that they can capitalise on these new tyres and catch up to, well, either catch up or build a big enough gap to Nico and Andrew that when eventually they pit, which Nico might be this lap. So, but yeah, when they pit, it doesn't cause too much. Statlev and Duffy have come out behind Level, so Level has got the jump on them. I believe he was ahead of them still, but yeah, he's at 1.5 seconds this time. As Nico decides not to pit this lap. Of course, Andrew doesn't pit as well. As we watch the two McLarens coming round. I mean, I'd get a little bit nervous if there were 7 laps left and I was waiting for my, race kind of rival to pit in. But hey ho, I mean, yep. As Bonfo here has been lapped, actually, I believe, by everybody. As an AI, of course, left the session on lap 4, which is stupid, really, especially for a struggling Williams team who really are living by the book, by the race this time around. I believe Caster's made a little mistake there as he runs a little bit wide, and I think that curve is, as Caster's actually very much just, I don't even know what he's doing at the moment. As we watch him, we may as well watch his onboard. Oh, he's got puncture. Okay, Caster's got a puncture, so slow down the straights, really struggling to deal with the car. I honestly thought he was going to try and take himself out. So I was like, oh, better keep an eye, make sure he doesn't just purposefully cause a safety car here. But no, you can see that rear wheel is lifting the front wheel in the air, and he has no control at all. And his race goes from bad to worse. Alpine really struggling this season so far, and this is not helping at all. Puncture, but it would also scare other drivers as well, maybe. They could see what is happening with his tyre. Well, could happen to theirs. as these two continue round. We'll see if Andrew decides this is the lap. Nope, Andrew stays out. Hazy now under pressure from the two McLarens, and Wagner, they've caught him. It's very important for Hazy to not be too much of a disturbance for the McLaren's race. If the McLarens want something from this, he needs to make sure they get past Hazy as quick as possible, as the laps are counting down. Jeffy down the inside. Hazy doesn't defend. He knows that this is not his fight. Maybe Hazy's trying to go to the end on these tyres. It very much seems that way, as Salu will be next to cross the line. Cross the line, what? Sorry. Get past Hazy. Just zoning out, really. As Nico currently has a 15-second gap to Jeffy, and Andrew only a 12-second gap. So this strategy might be a little bit Ferrari-esque, really. It seems weird. If they can make the tyres last, fair enough to him. However, very difficult ask. Andrew's probably in the best position for this because, of course, he stayed out for ages. Same with Hazy, to be fair. They both stayed out for a very long time, but it's still a long way to go on the tyres. And with the conditions being as they are, where it's not really wet enough for the Inters, really, Wagner looks for a little move on Salu, but of course doesn't just send it. He's waiting for the perfect opportunity, and Hazy really blocking these two. A 2-second gap already between Jeffyboy and Salu. So these guys really being held by Hazy, and of course down the straight, Hazy sticks to the left-hand side, and Wagner's going to try and sit in a slipstream and try and get past, as Salu's already passed. Wagner next to get past. So Hazy down into P6. Wagner making a little attempt on Salu as well. And Wagner makes the move, maybe a little bit of contact on the McLaren. But ever so, still makes the move up into P4. 4, sorry. And can now try and chase down Jeffyboy, who is rapidly gaining on Nico and Andrew. Andrew is rapidly gaining as well on Nico. So there's still a lot to go in this race. Statliv and Duffy, by the way, are still close. They've been close pretty much the entire race. Could be good points for both the Haas and the Racing Bulls team. Whichever one comes out in 8th, it's 4 points. So kind of want that. 2 points extra. Really does help when you're fighting in the midfield. That's why a P6 for Hazy would be really good. However, can he stretch the tyres to the distance? Doesn't seem like Nico's able to, as the gap between Nico and Andrew has rapidly dropped. And I think Nico is going to have to bite the bullet and pit in soon. I think it may need to happen, as I think the risk of a puncture for Nico, considering we're on lap 23 and he's lost a lot of pace already, I think the risk of a puncture is going to be very high. Whereas for Andrew at the moment, it seems okay. If Hazy pits though, for him, he drops down into P9, so Hazy's in a very difficult spot as well. He has to kind of do the one stop now and commit to it, whereas, you know, Nico will drop down to around P6, and if Hazy, Hazy in the Sauber will probably be quite an easy pass on new tyres. So yeah, it's very difficult. But we've just got 5 laps remaining. Can they stretch them? I mean, Andrew trying to make a move on Nico down the inside through the turn 1 section, and he gets the move. It's around the outside. Has he got the grip to gain on the exit? Nico not being able to put the power down as early as Andrew, and Andrew takes away the lead and ups Nico's pressure, really, because now there's nothing stopping Jeffy from gaining on Nico and getting past. I mean, having a little buffer there with Andrew would have been nice for him, but a good move from Andrew nevertheless. Now, Salu and Wagner still close with each other. I mean, Hazy's really rapidly dropped away from this group. Of course, in the Sauber, when you're on very old tyres, comparing that to a McLaren and a Ferrari who are on newer tyres, you're not really going to compare, are you? And, I mean, 8 seconds between Jeffy and Nico at the moment. Nico's just committed to this one stop. And if he makes it work, then that's insane. But
the risk of a puncture late on. And I mean, you go from being second place to what could potentially be, if he pits, a 6th or a 5th place. You know, it's, yeah. Do you just commit, bite the bullet and just take the points? Or do you try and risk it? And, well, be in the position that Nico is right now, to be honest. Seems difficult, really, to make. If he gets a puncture, he could drop down easily outside the points. So, yeah, very difficult for the Mercedes driver to maybe think about. And I'm sure he'll be thinking about it in his head a little bit to see what the best decision for him is going to be. As the rest of the field is kind of broken up right now, so we've got a little break, really, of nothing going on. Duffy is close to Statlev. Of course, we'll stick with these guys for a little bit. Statlev really doing well in the house, of course, racing Season 6 and Season 5. Made a little season out in Season 7, decided not to race, and has come back with a fresh little look at the season. Of course, this is the last season on the game as well, so you know you got to race in the final season on the game. You know, yeah. 25 out of 28, 5 seconds between Jeffyboy and Nico. I mean, this is a very quick gain. I mean, I really do think that Jeffyboy is gonna be P2 in this race, because Nico, under a lot of pressure right now, already losing so much time. We've only got a couple laps left, but I don't think that Nico has got enough tyre wear to make it the distance. I think it's going to be difficult. But yeah, if he pits now, I think he doesn't actually come out in a nice position either. If we look at a gap to the leader, as they update a little bit, you know, if Nico pits, he does come out P6 still. So yeah, it is, yeah, very, very difficult situation to be in. Jeffy is gaining heavily though on Nico at the moment. Salu behind, trying to save some tyres against Wagner, of course, still fighting for that P4. So we've got 3 laps remaining now. Yeah, 3 laps remaining of the race, so still plenty of time for Jeffy to catch up Nico and maybe even try and catch Andrew. I mean, it could be possible. Nice. As Regis there gets a 3-second time penalty, been cruising along in P12 really for most of the race. Cast is still in the race down in P14. Okay, just more checking on that, to be honest. Look at this. Jeffy can literally see Nico. Nico going so slowly at the moment. I mean, this is insane. Nico just trying to make it to the end, and it does make me question, you know, if he just pit. Ooh, Andrew's very much slower than Jeffy. Okay, Jeffy could get past Andrew as well here, but there is only 2 laps left, so it will be very tight, and it all depends on how quickly he can get past Nico. You see Andrew there, comes down the straight. Nico and Jeffy come down the straight. Jeffy down the inside. Nico not even bothering to defend here. He knows his tyres are cooked. He knows that they're finished. He just needs to do another 2 laps after this. Vortex comes into the pits very late on. Maybe for a little, I don't even know why, to be honest. But yeah, this is interesting for Jeffy. Already up into P2 and chasing down Andrew. Needs to gain 2.4 seconds a lap. Basically, he needs to be around 2.4 seconds. But it's all okay, you know, closing the gap. But it's all about actually overtaking. That is the difficult part. And as proved by Salu, really, he's been stuck behind Wagner for a very long time in this race. Same with Duffy and Statlev. Those two been together pretty much the entire race as well. As Salu and Wagner both have a chance to catch Nico as well and find their way onto the podium places. Will Wagner be able to hold on to that Ferrari podium? Potential Ferrari podium if Nico slows down enough, which I think he is. Or will Salu just swipe it away and help McLaren in their constructors fight? Who knows? got 2 laps remaining now to find this out. Andrew has not lost enough time on Jeffy. Sorry, Jeffy has not gained enough time. Is probably the right way to say it. Jeffy not gaining enough on Andrew at the moment to mount a charge. And Wagner really not gaining enough on Nico to get past him as well. However, Nico's tyres will be very bad. Fastest lap was set in the dries. He's had a great race. And he's had a 1-stop. Whereas everyone else has done a 2. Bar Andrew and Nico have done 1s. So yeah, Hazy has done a 1-stop. So very good strategy from the Sauber team. Will Salu be able to make a move on Wagner as he pulls to the outside, trying to maybe get a better exit through the hairpin? He doesn't manage to get a good enough one. But now we're heading on to the final lap. And, of course, there is Nico right ahead of Wagner. And it definitely does seem like Nico is not going to be able to hold on to this P3. We look at the tyre graphic as we're comparing Hazy to Salu. I don't really care about Hazy, no offence. But, yeah, Hazy's rears look very bad. And probably not as bad as Nico's do as well. Nico literally already under pressure from Wagner. Wagner sitting behind, can smell the podium. Is he going to make the lunge down the inside? Yes, he is. Is Salu going to follow him through? Wagner makes the move up into the podium spots. Is Salu going to be able to get past Nico as well? Nico's going to try and fight it against Wagner. Doesn't manage to hold it down the inside and now is under pressure from Salu, who gets down the inside and up into P4. Nico just drops down, and Hazy now under pressure as well from Level as Duffy has finally got past Statlev. They're side by side. These two have been Statlev's been ahead the entire time, really. Duffy was ahead for a little bit of the stage, but since this last stint hasn't been close. And this is close between the two. Level looks like he'll probably get past Hazy as well. But of course, we'll look at Andrew, who got pole position here right at the end of the session. And Jeffy wasn't able to mount a charge on those newer tyres. The 1-stop definitely worked for the Red Bull driver as we watch Andrew round through the final corner. He drifts it round beautifully, and Andrew wins in China in the Red Bull. What a way to celebrate. P2 goes to Jeffy with a well-fought race, and Wagner comes across the line to claim a podium for Ferrari. Salu comes home in P4. Nico unlucky there in P5. Hazy and Level having a scrap here for P6. Hazy trying to hold on. Is Level going to go for a dive down the last corner? Level can't do it, and Hazy in the Sauber gets P6 with the fastest lap. Level comes home P7. Statlev tops over Duffy, and Marley here is going to come home in a well-respected P10. What a race for the Sauber, though. P20 to P6. Fair play, Hazy. As Marley there celebrates. We didn't get to see their lap in Q3, sadly. Yep, as a torrid lap for a day for Pablos as he crosses the line now in P11, outside the points. But luckily, Ferrari did get P3. So, you know, they got 15 points from all this. As Regis now through the final corner. Pretty poor race when you compare to his teammate. However, beat a couple people there and crosses the line. Vortex, the last person to cross the line, because of course Bonfo decided to leave the session on lap 4. And yeah, we watch Vortex run through the final couple corners. All eyes on him. As of course, we had 5 DNFs this race. Crazy. But Vortex crosses the line, and we have finished. Yippee. Marley, it was actually points, not points. As Andrew celebrates, putting himself into the Drivers' Championship charge now against Jeffyboy, who with P2 will continue to lead the drivers, I believe. Yeah, I don't remember who Who got P2 in the other race? I don't even know. So celebrate with no particles, there's no point. But there you are. Hazy getting, of course, a lot of things there. As that is the classification of the results, of course. This is before pens, but Andrew takes the win there for the Red Bull team. Red Bull having a great season so far in all three divisions, really. As we look further down with the 5 DNFs and the 1 DSQ for Bonfo here, he'll be disqualified at the end of this race. But Kai, Daniel Barker, Daniel Van der Saan, Riley Edwards, and Josh Terry all retiring in the pit lane. I mean, come on, guys. Didn't do race director, so I'm really sorry if anyone wanted to see that. However, there wasn't that many penalties in the end. We had quite a clean race on pens wise. But there we go.